But your thing is going really great. My son's a big fan of yours, Baron.
Really, Baron is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
He just graduated high school, right?
That's right. He just did. He knows you very well. He said, Dad, he's big.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's with Trump and like constantly relying on his sons for media appearances? Bro really needs to be monitoring his son's fucking intake, dude.
Yo, does Baron play sports or anything?
He does. He plays golf and different sports.
Ew, bro. Let him play ball. He's like 6'8", dog. He's 6'8" and Slovenian. What the fuck is wrong with you? Let him fucking hoop, dog.
Soccer. Loves soccer. Very good at soccer. He's a good athlete, Baron.
Yeah. Which one of your kids, what's something you admire about each one of your sons?
Don is a hunter. He's a great, great hunter and knows everything about that world and guns and all. Eric, likewise, he loves the business. He loves real estate. Also very much of a hunter. And
bro, he can't find anything. Like there is not an ounce of like genuine good feelings that he has for either of his fucking dipshit fail sons. Do you see the bit from Michael Cohen's book about Trump calling Don Jr. a fucking idiot for shooting an elephant and posting the pig online? I did not, but it makes sense. I mean, he's right. He's literally just describing them, not saying what he admires about them. Yeah, he's like, well, you know, Don Jr., he's a hunter. He likes diet sodas.
Understands a lot of things about that. They were sort of, as young guys, they were with their grandfather, and he would take them hunting in Czechoslovakia, and somehow they developed very well. And
Czechoslovakia,
yeah,
damn.
can you imagine?
It's a lot of letters even.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a name you don't hear too much anymore, but it was...
I'd need a scope just to get through the spell.
That's a name you don't hear too much anymore. That's hilarious.
That's right. A lot of people.
Yeah.
But so he'd go, they'd spend time in Europe and they'd do that. That's where he learned a lot about both of them. Really good. Oh, yeah.
They have a good sense of humor, too. Like, whenever I see them at UFC, it's like...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just like... The first time I was nervous, I think. And then after that, when I've seen them, it's like, it's fun to kind of cut up with them a little bit.
Yeah, well, they're good. They're good guys. And they really they get along great with the rest of the family. We all get along great. We have a good family. But I love UFC. You talk about a great guy. How about Dana White?
Yeah.
Good job he does, right?
Yeah, I want to thank Dana too for helping get us set up together. Yeah, he makes it happen. I like Dana. He's he doesn't waste words. He doesn't waste time.
You know, there's an expression that everybody is replaceable. Not Dana.
Yeah.
Nobody could do what he does, and he's made that sport into a big monster
Dude, no one. Absolutely zero people beat the shit out of their wives in the same way.
sport.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and we go there and we enjoy it, go with him. Sometimes we do walk-ons with Dana, and place sort of likes it. That's right. The white guy in the hat is right. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of us there, but I was one of them for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, see, that's me right there.
Good sport, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, I'm a Dustin Poirier fan. So.
Oh, he's great. He was, boy, I tell you, he's a warrior. That last fight he had, whether you like it or not, he is a warrior.
Yeah.
I do think that, I think Trump's strategy of going to like right wing, or not even right wing necessarily, but like strategy as a telegenic person that is like capable of holding a conversation with people who are not immediately at odds with him, actually does end up humanizing him a lot to people who are prone to his kind of politics. I don't even know if the Democrats could actually like recreate this with Kamala, especially humanizing a horrible racist monster. Great. No, I'm thinking specifically tactics, because this is a question that comes up a lot in the media specifically. Like, I have had to answer this question like 100 times, both at the DNC and even before the DNC. And I'm sure that this is something that like in the future, journalists will be asking me about as well, given my position as a prominent content creator who is a political commentator on a platform like Twitch. People ask me this all the fucking time. It's like, oh, well, you know, the Democrats want to try to adopt the same strategy as Trump. Problem is, I just don't think that a person like Kamala Harris is capable of like going on, like what would be the equivalent? You know what I mean? I just don't see Kamala Harris like doing this an equivalent. Kamala Harris on I've Had It is like not a good example though, because no disrespect to the I've Had It ladies, they're great, but this is not like, I mean, look at the numbers even. Like this has 100,000 views before she actually ran, before she became the obviously the presidential candidate, but like that's not the equivalent. You know what I mean? Maybe like Hot Ones potentially, but even then you would have to do it repeatedly. Like Trump doesn't do this as a one-off. This is like a whole personality that he's cultivated over many, many years as a content creator himself originally, right? If Trump just did like one or two media hits, it would be like Joe Biden going on that what was the podcast with like Speedy, that guy, the fucking Complex podcast. Like it would look like that. She would have to like do this a bunch of times, but ultimately it would still look stale and manufactured because she appears like very manicured.
Yeah, what was do you remember like the first fight that you ever went to, whether it was UFC or boxing or anything?
Yeah,
like,
I do. It was Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali in Madison Square Garden many, many years ago. And I think that was the first fight I went to. I always liked the boxing.
How old were you, remember?
Oh, boy, I don't know. You can deduct it from what I am now, but it was a long time ago.
What is Theo politically? Everything. Just the median voter, the perfect median voter. Trump played golf with a golfing YouTuber, for example. He's in it for the content. Yeah, and it got 11 million views. Like he's kind of cooking on his social media strategy. I'm not gonna lie. But it's not something that Kamala Harris, I don't think, can genuinely recreate anyway. Even Dr. Phil, 16 mil. Dude, yeah. A Trump interview is like literally immediate lock that you're gonna get like 10 million plus views. How do you think this will reflect an actual vote? So many 16-year-olds watching Theo can't vote. Maybe I'm wrong. I think like if you want to activate a base of voters that are non-voters that maybe were too young to vote or too young to care during your horrific presidential run, this is the best way to do it. This is what I said with the Aiden Ross stuff too. Like he's very clearly going after, like his team understands there are a group of voters out there, young men specifically, that have shown in polling results that they are more interested in Republican politics in general, don't really look at traditional media all that much, and might have been too young to have made up their minds about Donald Trump under the Trump administration, under the Trump presidency. Even if they're like Joe Rogan watchers in general, because like Theo Von probably has a similar audience. Theo Von has a similar audience to Joe Rogan, so I assume it's like a lot of like older men, older than you would think, men that aren't necessarily tapped in to mainstream interest, mainstream media in general. And the interesting part of that equation is that they don't show up in polls either, especially if they're like non-voters originally. They're not going to show up in polls. Am I still here? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Why do we care? Come on, move on.
Like you think it was that? It's like.
But we had an exciting event the other night with Elon Musk and me.
I listened.
We had a pretty big audience for that one, I can tell you.
Yeah, I listened for probably about like 20 minutes. I thought it was cool. It was. I think the tough part was just like just like it would have been neat if you guys could have been in the same spot, you know?
He's talking about the list.
Had so many millions and millions of people watching, like record numbers of people. And I'm trying to figure out, we're on a cell phone, or I was. And, you know, that's a lot of people coming into a cell phone one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I heard some people had a problem with the audio. I don't know. I don't do that thing. You know, that was done. And we had a great conversation. It was for 2 hours and 15 minutes. They just put out a clear tape of it, a perfect tape of it. But yeah, I sounded, somebody said your voice was distorted or something. And you know, I guess
it's so funny. He hates the way he's perceived, and it's obvious. He hates the way he's perceived. It's obvious that he heard the lisp shit and it pisses him off, but he doesn't want to draw too much attention to the lisp. So he's just trying to say it without saying it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I heard the audio, there was some issues or something.